If you're doing everything yourself in your business, then you're not building a business. You're merely surviving. And I know that sounds harsh, but it's true, But don't worry, because I'm going to show you how to escape that mindset and how to get your business thriving. Because if you're the person doing, the emails, doing the marketing, the operations, deliveries, doing the sales, and somehow also trying to grow your business, then you're the bottleneck here, and this needs to stop, and it needs to stop right now. And if you're feeling stuck, burnt out, or wondering what steps you need to implement, then hang around till the end and I'll break it all down for you. My name is Richard Gerritsen-Cornell, and this channel is dedicated to helping people create their own destinies. I've been in business for 30 years, helping brands sell more of their products and services. So whether you're a young adult, trying to find your path, or an entrepreneur looking to grow your business, I will show you how to cope and succeed in your journey whilst enjoying it along the way. So let's get into it. Why you feel stuck in your business. The number one reason small businesses stay small, it's because the owner, they try to do absolutely everything themselves. It's as simple as that, okay? And I see this happen every single day. People often ask me, how do I scale when I'm the one who knows everything in the business? Or, why does everything stop unless I'm doing it? Or how do I free up time to actually grow? Or I'm so exhausted, but I don't know how to stop doing everything myself. And even though these are, very common problems, they're actually big problems that hold way too many businesses back, holding owners back from achieving great things. And these problems, they demonstrate that your business is built around you and not built around systems. And that's exactly why your business simply can't grow. Doing everything myself nearly broke me. Now, I remember my first few years in business where I worked completely on my own. I did everything from the sales, the marketing, the cleaning, accounting, courier driving, and I also had to do all the production work as well. And even though I really enjoyed it, I soon realized that I couldn't even take a day off. If I didn't turn up to work, then nothing got done, and I would be letting my clients down. Something had to give, because I knew this wasn't sustainable. And it took me a good couple of years, to bite the bullet and hire my first employee. But I was so scared that it might not work out. And my mind, it made every excuse under the sun as to why it wouldn't work. But the day I hired my first person, everything changed for the better. And it wasn't because that, they were perfect, and not because they knew everything, but because I finally understood that my business could only grow once I just got out of the way. 3 hidden costs of doing everything yourself. Hidden cost number 1, you become the bottleneck. Know the feeling when nothing moves unless you move? Every decision needs you. Every task is waiting for you. And when that bottleneck in your business, it doesn't matter how talented you are or how hard you think you can push through it, the business can only ever grow as fast as your capacity. Hidden cost number 2, you burn yourself out. And people often tell me, they're doing 12-hour days or even more, and they still feel behind. And I tell them, of course you are. You're doing 5 jobs, and more than likely, none of them to their full potential. But burnout isn't a sign of weakness here. It's a sign of carrying too many roles for too long, and you can't do that forever. Hidden cost number 3, you destroy growth without realizing it. Now, here is the big cost to your business. You think by doing everything yourself, you're actually saving money. And I fell into that trap in my infancy days. But it's actually costing you more than you realize. Not to mention the large amount of missed opportunities, which is the worst, right, to your business. And how? Well, you can't take on more clients. You can't improve the business. You can't pay for, plan for the long term. All you're doing is putting out fires and just doing everything yourself. You won't prosper. What you must stop doing first. Now, when you're in the trenches in your business and you don't have the time to, come up for air, so to speak, it's then hard to know what steps you should take to turn things around. And I get it, as I've been there too many times. But here is what you must do first. I want you to write down all the tasks that you do in your business. Put a name to them and put a value to them. For example, if you're doing menial tasks that could be done for a small hourly rate of say $20 an hour, then identify them and see, how much time per week you could save if you were to outsource them. Then look at the tasks which provide your business with the most amount of money that you could spend more time doing. And then you will quickly see which tasks are draining you and not adding value to your business. And some of these tasks, they might include, admin or emails or scheduling, social media, basic customer service, anything from invoicing, basically any operation that wouldn't make a difference to your customers if you were to not do them or not, right? Now, these are the tasks which will take a lot of your time with no greater benefit to your business. And these are tasks that wouldn't cost you much to outsource. Next, here's some tasks that you could keep doing, okay? You could do the sales, the business strategy, the marketing. And if you're still on the tools, so to speak, then you could keep doing that for a period of time, right? You need to focus on anything in your business that drives growth and won't hold your business back. How to delegate without losing control. And another big hurdle you must overcome, it's trust. And I often get people asking me, how do I trust someone else to do the job right? And what if they don't do it as well as what I could do it? Or I've done this for years, and how do I hand it over to someone else? And I remember back to my first employee, I quickly identified that I needed someone to do my production work so I could get on the road and sell more. And I was so worried about all of these things, but you need to know that it all comes down to trust. If you cannot let go of the reins and put your faith in someone who you're paying, then you will never break free of that cycle. And what I learned over the years is this: you don't need someone who's perfect. All you need is someone who is good enough to free up your time. And yes, they're going to make mistakes, but it's possible to reduce the amount of mistakes simply by implementing a system. For example, why not record a step-by-step video for them to watch and refer to, or write up a simple checklist of steps that they can follow? And remember, this is all part of the process. But what is really refreshing about your first hire, it's that it's probably the first time you've ever written these things down, and that's your first system. And this will be the first time in your business that you'll be able to see growth. And having someone else doing your work now means that you're free to rinse and repeat it and do it over and over again, because now you've trusted someone and you can tell your brain that I've done this once and I can do it again. How can you hire someone if you can't afford it? And some of the biggest challenges people experience in their business is when you hear them say something like, how can I hire someone when I'm burnt out and simply don't have the energy to hand over the reins? Or how can I hire someone when money is tight? Or what if I hire someone and it doesn't work out and I lose all my money? And trust me, I've asked myself all those questions before over the years, but you have to understand, my honest answer is this: you can't afford not to hire. If you don't overcome these challenges, then you will always be stuck in the same position, but it will get worse as time goes on, because you're going to burn out and you will lose work to your competitors who can take on more work than you can. And remember, you're not paying for labor here, you're paying for time, which is the thing that you desperately need more of. And in business, your growth comes down to two things: time and money. You can either use your time to make money, or you can spend money to save you time. Either way, there's going to be a cost, but it's up to you to determine what costs are feasible to give you more time to grow. And this is where it's all at. But my advice to anyone in this position is to start small. Don't start hiring people in the hope that work is just going to start appearing, because this is a good way to go broke. Start with outsourcing the basic admin tasks first and see how much more work that you can invoice each week. Start by getting a virtual assistant for, say, a few hours a week, or get a freelancer to do your socials, or a bookkeeper for a couple of hours a week. Remember, these are the tiny investments that will give you massive leverage. But I repeat, you need to use your newfound time wisely. Don't go and chill at the beach and waste your time. Use your time to grow, and grow quickly. You will be surprised how quickly you'll be able to generate more sales just with another couple of days up your sleeve. And remember, you need to constantly evaluate the effectiveness of your new hires and see how they're benefiting your business. Because once you can see results, then mate, you can plan for the bigger and better hires that will accelerate your growth even further. How to build a business that doesn't rely on you. Now, if you want a business that grows without burning you out, then you'll need to move from worker to leader. And unfortunately, this is the part that most people never reach. And remember before where I said that, once you get past your first hire for all the admin tasks, you've handed over trust to someone else and you're free to get more sales, but you still may be on the tools or doing the core work yourself. Well, now is the time to get off the tools, okay? Because now that you're making more sales, you're doing more work, and you're making more money, it's now time to hire someone, who can replace you completely in the business, and then you'll be able to scale quickly. And your new job, it's going to be a little daunting at first. I get it, right? But you'll now be able to focus completely on the vision for your business. You'll be able to dedicate your entire time to optimizing, hiring, creating opportunities, and strategizing for where you want to see your business go. But the best thing about reaching this milestone? You now have a business that is saleable. Your business is now worth money, meaning you now have a business that has value, because your business, it just doesn't rely on you anymore. Your business is now profitable without you. It's growing without you, and it's completely functioning without you. And this is what is attractive to anyone who is looking to buy a business. And this is finally how you break free, because now you've built something real. Now, this wraps up my video today, and I want you to ask yourself, what's the one task that you're doing every day, that you shouldn't be doing anymore? And drop it in the comments below, as I would love to read it. And be honest with yourself here, because this is where it all starts, okay? And remember that the whole purpose of going into business is to make more money and have more freedom, more time. but you can't achieve that if you constantly think that you're better doing everything yourself. And if this video has helped you in any way, please hit like and subscribe, as I'm going to keep sharing real, practical advice to help your business flourish. So thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Cheers.